For 25 years, Brightview Senior Living has been dedicated to creating an award-winning company culture so residents and families receive best-in-class services. Across our 50 communities, Brightview associates help deliver peace of mind, safety, security, transportation, daily programs, delicious food, and high-quality care if needed. Discover how our vibrant senior living communities can help you live your best life. Visit brightviewseniorliving.com to learn more. Equal housing opportunity.
Let's clear out winter and clean up the lawn with Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. Right now, get the Ryobi One Plus leaf blower for just $89 and make your lawn work easier with a powerful 90 miles an hour of clearing power. And with convenient online shopping, you can order on the app, pick up in store, and get outside sooner. Get your yard spring ready with the Ryobi One Plus leaf blower, now just $89 during Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Tired of endless diets and weight loss struggles? It's time to say goodbye to frustration and hello to results. Introducing Smart Metabolic Burn from BrainMD, your breakthrough solution to fight stubborn body fat. Imagine burning fat, balancing glucose levels, and regulating metabolism in just 12 weeks. This unique 2-in-1 product combines the power of 2 clinically studied ingredients in one revolutionary formula. Berberine, which targets abdominal fat, and OEA, which curbs your appetite. With just 2 capsules a day, Smart Metabolic Burn by BrainMD can kickstart your metabolism, fight stubborn body fat, especially that pesky abdominal fat, and support your weight management journey. Right now, save over 30% on Smart Metabolic Burn at GetSmartBurn.com. The lowest price anywhere. That's GetSmartBurn.com. Don't delay. Transform your life with Smart Metabolic Burn from BrainMD. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey everyone, I'm Brian Austin Green.
I'm Shauna Burgess.
And I'm Randy Spelling.
And you are listening to Oldish, an iHeartRadio podcast.
Well, hey there, Randy.
Hi, Sharna.
Bri is away working, so he's going to be overseas and working for the next 2 weeks. And it's just the time difference it'd be cruel to make him wake up and do this with us right now. So he is going to be back with us in a couple of weeks. But
we do
Randy,
have a fill-in.
We do. Oh, we do.
It's taking
right.
Brian's place next week, and you're all just going to have to be surprised as to who that is.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We promise it'll be good.
Not that my man's replaceable, but it's a pretty good option too. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty excited about having that person with us.
I hope that today, I know you're seeing me, the camera's not going to shake too much because we're getting Christmas lights put up, which I usually do them every single year. And for years, I've been walking around the neighborhood, and one day we're going to get the professional lights because I cannot do it professionally. Mine are dangling off. And there's, the icicle ones that are blowing in the wind. And then my wife always says there's a strand out. And then I'm up, in the rain trying to figure out a strand. So
terrible.
This year I said, you know what? I saw a little sign in the neighborhood. It said Christmas lights. I called, I got it done, and they're doing it now. And it seems like they're going to come through the roof.
Actually, you know what Bri just had installed? Because Bri is a big lighting guy. He will select the light bulbs for the house. They must be the right color and tone. They must be all the things. He just loves lighting. It's not weird, but it's a thing of his.
We share that.
Not weird because you share it, right?
We share that.
That he had permanent holiday lights put up. So they are LED strips all around our house that are programmed for all holidays. So the Mother's Day, they're going to be, I think, red. And then Father's Day, they're blue. And then Halloween, they're purple and orange. And they're just programmed to happen that way. And I was like, all right, that's cool, I guess. At least he's not climbing up on a ladder, and
hey, it's financially resourceful, right? You do it once and then you're saving money. And it's LED, so, barely any electricity.
Yeah, he does all that, but they're LED. I'm like, okay.
But they're LED.
Whatever. But they're
so
LED.
Here's a question. Are you a before holiday light person or after? I know Brian is now year round, but do you traditionally put up decorations before Thanksgiving or after?
So, you know what? I'm actually kind of like new to this in a sense. So Thanksgiving is big for me now that I have a big family and I like to celebrate with it. But previously, Thanksgiving isn't really a huge holiday for me. So it's like Friendsgiving. But now we start with the decorations from like fall and Halloween those decorations are out in like September for the kids, near the end of September. And then we pretty much switch over to Christmas decorations. Like I was in Home Goods today looking for new Christmas decorations because it's, you know, I want different things for our home and it makes me really excited. But I think having kids has done that, because before I was out of the country from 17, 18 years old, and I was just everywhere and anywhere, mostly on tour for Christmases for half my life. So now with kids, it's become a really cool thing. And I'm going through Home Goods like, oh, Noah would love that. And oh, Journey would love that Santa. And Zane is going to love this little Santa squishy. Like it's a whole new level of decorating for me. I'm looking at DIY stuff of how to do entryways with wreaths and all this sort of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm creative, right? So I want to do those things. So I'm really excited to maybe have some projects, some little art projects that I could get the kids involved with and decorating. It's fun.
Oh, there's so many great holiday projects and things that you can do. And it's funny, I was asking you, are you a before Thanksgiving Christmas decoration person or after? The stores are, I saw
June,
Christmas trees for Halloween. I was like, wait, we went to the hardware store. Of course, now I can't step foot in a hardware store without thinking about Brian and how he goes back and forth
constantly
so many times.
But there's been no lists made, Randy. There's been no lists.
No list. Did that fall off since the distractions episode?
I mean, he's made a list here and there, and he has tried to make a conscious effort. And then he gets even more frustrated with himself when he's like, oh, I got the wrong screws. Like, how that man doesn't have all the screws from Home Depot already in his tool shed, I don't know. Somehow he's still got the wrong screws. We've got every screw known to man. I swear by it. But he does try and be better. But there's still multiple Home Depot trips, or Lowe's. That's another one.
Oh yeah,
loves it.
Home Depot and Lowe's. I get it. And by the way, there is an infinite amount of screws. You think you have it all, but then you go for the project and you don't have the right screw and then have to get something different.
I get it. It must be so frustrating.
So we have some questions to get into today. How did the Dr. Drew episode sit with you? It's one thing to do it and be in it while we are talking to someone. Mm-hmm. It's another thing to listen to it, right?
Oh, yeah. And it was, honestly, listening to it again was just mind-blowing again for me, the things that he said. And I could almost see my face pressed up against my computer screen listening to him, hanging on his every word. I was so grateful for that conversation, and especially grateful for the insights on the communicating with, boys versus girls. And we have boys in this family, and already this week I've had some really meaningful conversations with the boys about different things happening in life right now, and approaching it from a standpoint of having an activity, doing whatever that may be, and found that they've really gotten into it a bit more. Their attention span was longer, right? Because I always thought it was they couldn't focus. So then here I am feeling a little bit bad about telling them to focus and stay with me in this conversation, when truly it was just the wrong type of communication with them. So this new approach has been really helpful, and I'm so grateful for that. And then there was the rabbit hole of all the other stuff. And I was like, I don't know. My mind is exploding.
I love the parenting stuff, but I loved the rabbit hole stuff because I think these are conversations that are very interesting to have. The whole polarizing topics of the pandemic and how that was dealt with. I mean, I think that is something that still has been on people's minds, maybe less so now because we're a little bit more through it, but we have some insight now. I mean, this is what Oldish is all about, is coming to a point where you've experienced something and then looking back and going, okay, what makes sense? What didn't make sense? What were we told? What worked? What didn't work? And really putting that together for the future, as opposed to just going through something and going, okay, what's next?
That happened. Right.
Yeah.
Really trying to learn from it. We had some incredible feedback from our episode with Dr. Drew. Everybody seemed to love it, I think, just as much as we did. I think it's one of those you can listen to multiple times and get more and more from it each time, for sure. So I recommend that to people. But let's get into some of the questions that we had, because they are really good. I'll start off. I'll read one for you, Randy. Okay. We have a question from Sharon. She says, did any of you notice any behavioral differences in your children post-pandemic? My children graduated middle school freshmen in high school during the pandemic. now hate school and constantly complain it's not on Zoom. This is crazy to me because they used to love school. Is this normal? And how can I make them more enthusiastic about school?
Mm.
Interesting that they're wanting it to be on Zoom. Our kids couldn't stand Zoom over here. They hated it. And I admittedly came along near the end of that pandemic situation with school. But from what I understand that Bri has shared with me, it was just really difficult. And maybe that was their, under 10 age range. How about you?
I think it depends on the child, because our children did not like Zoom at all. They are very much in a school that's very tactile, where they do handwork, and there's a lot of social interaction, a lot of nature. So I think they were missing that. But I also heard from a lot of parents, because I was still coaching people throughout the pandemic like crazy, and hearing from parents and giving activities of how to get everyone engaged and pull back from the fear of everything going on and some of the hysteria, and just learning how to be present more within the family and how to stay engaged and have fun. And so during that, I heard from a lot of parents that for some kids it was a relief, because they didn't have to deal with some of the social awkwardness, some of the social anxiety that they may have felt. So for them, it was a saving grace. It was a way to step back and go, I don't have to deal with any of that. I can still learn, but I don't have to navigate any of the social dynamics.
Right. That's so interesting and an amazing perspective. I can understand that must have been much more comfortable for many kids.
Yeah.
So how would Sharon, it seems that her kids used to love school. So what do you think is your advice for her on how she could get them to be more enthusiastic about it moving forward?
It's a great question. And I'm not going to pretend to have for a lot of things, I have, really good answers. For this, it's a tough one. So I'll bumble through this as the information comes to me.
Right.
I think, Sharon, you're asking, is it normal? Yes, I think some of this is normal. Based on what Dr. Drew said, right? When he said, when you start to see socially children changing, when grades go down, when they start to dress differently, listen to different music, definitely pay attention to these cues. If your child is isolating to a point that feels a little bit more unhealthy and really withdrawing, then I would say that is a time to book some sort of appointment with a therapist, figure out what's going on. Maybe they need an outlet of someone to talk to. I imagine that there is so much from living through a pandemic and the aftermath of that. And now what used to be normal isn't. There is a new normal. And so because of this new normal, your child might not be as enthusiastic about school. I don't know if I have the one answer of how to get them more enthusiastic about school other than talking about it. And this is what Dr. Drew said again, ask some open-ended questions, such as, was there something that you used to like about school? Do you remember when you were going before pandemic, what you looked forward to? Get curious and ask questions to try and understand what is going on. If it's too hard or you can't understand, then again, maybe it's time to talk to someone and see what insight they have for the situation. But really, I think it's finding whatever you can that is of interest to them and seeing how they could get more of that in school. Because if they can find that one thing, they might not like these 5 other things about school, but if there's that one thing that they are interested in and somehow that can be weaved into school in some way, then it might pique their interest enough.
Great advice. I wonder, because you said something about finding those things that you're interested in, things to be enthusiastic about. Could this be an approach of, the way we talk about find the things that feel good and go there, and it will generate more of that in your life? What if even outside of school, there was trying to generate more enthusiasm and excitement about just life in general, to maybe address those feelings of not feeling excited about anything, so it seems. And if you are creating more excitement and enthusiasm outside of school, do you think that could then bleed over into school? Does, that could then positively affect the approach and mood about school?
Yes, I think it absolutely can. I mean, if there's no excitement in other areas, then there's not going to be a lot of excitement in school. I think turning up the volume in other areas can't hurt, right? I mean,
Right.
having excitement, generating that, building that is a skill in any point in life where you go, okay, I'm feeling a little lackluster here. How do I bring more excitement in?
Mm-hmm.
I think, though, when it comes to school, what you have to be careful of is trying to make something exciting that just isn't exciting.
Yeah.
And if people are spending more time on the internet, so, over Zoom, I imagine now there's more screens, there's more internet. Kids are savvy, right? And they go, oh, wait, I don't have to do that. So if I don't have to do that, and I didn't do that for a while, why do I need to continue to do that? So it's really about finding that thing that maybe they want to graduate early. Maybe there's another course, like you said, find another thing outside of school that they're interested in, or a path that they can generate some excitement in, and then see how that can be weaved into school or schooling. Maybe it's an alternative form of school, but it's something that excites them. And I think old school is like, you just have to go to school, do what you need to do, learn what you need to learn, and keep moving on for higher education. Unfortunately, these days, that's not necessarily the case. You're not necessarily guaranteed anything from going to college.
Except debt.
Except debt. So I don't know about you, Sharna. In my opinion, when it comes to education, I see people become successful when they find the thing that interests them because they have been called lazy, or they've been withdrawn in some areas of their life. But when they find that thing, like you found dance, right? When they find that thing, it lights something up for them.
I so agree with that. I think that's wonderful advice. Sharon, I hope that helps.
Yes. Okay, I'll read one to you.
Okay.
This is from Helen. My parents have never believed in mental health, anxiety, or therapy. I know times have changed since I was younger, but I think my son is struggling with his mental health. He's always had anxiety, but I've noticed it's gotten worse. Do I suggest he talk to someone or just take him to someone? I know having him see someone will help, but I'm not sure how to approach him about it without him getting mad or completely shutting down on me.
Helen, it's a great question. And I honestly think that probably many parents face this, especially having had parents with those old belief systems that therapy is, for when there's something wrong with you, right? I think you need to build a healthy relationship around therapy in your home, in knowing that it doesn't mean anything needs to be wrong. It's just simply maintenance for the soul, maintenance for the mind and the body. And maybe you can do it leading by example and say, you're going to therapy, and actually go, not just say it, and do that for yourself as well, where you can also ask questions like this. But saying to your son, no, nothing's wrong. It's really nice for me to go and have someone that I can speak to for an hour every week and just lay out all the things in my head, and they can help me make sense of them. And the other part of this, it really does depend on how old your son is, on how you approach, like whether you tell him or not. But I think you always tell. But if your son is of those teenage years where he really feels like therapy is a negative thing, I definitely think the leading by example and guiding him into that. Randy, I think you'll have better advice with that too, on how to get him there. But I think therapy for kids is, especially when you have multiple kids, if you start seeing signs of anxiety or things coming up in them, I think therapy is so unbelievably healthy, because expecting our kids to open up to mum and dad is just, it's too much of a tall order. They don't want to disappoint you. They don't want to hurt you. They build this shame around their feelings that they're having because of those things. They don't want to hurt you. And there's nothing you can do about that. It's the parent and child relationship. No matter how open you make it with them, they need a safe space that is not you, where they can open up about things. And I think starting those relationships earlier in life is so unbelievably healthy. And I would suggest absolutely taking your son to see someone. And Randy, I'm sure you have a great advice on how to approach that with kids and getting them to come see you.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Therapy used to have this stigma, in past generations, still does, depending on where you are and how you've grown up. Therapy is like going to a physical therapist or a trainer or a teacher and learning a language that you otherwise don't know. My knee hurts. What do I do? Instead of just, taking pain medication for the knee, going to a physical therapist and saying, I think there's something going on here. And the physical therapist gives exercises, gives you a language to tune into the body and go, oh yeah, this is when I move it this way, it hurts. So it's developing this language and this skill of how to talk to yourself, how to talk to somebody else, how to understand in you what is happening. And that is an invaluable skill. So first and foremost, if you can, Helen, let go of any ideas of what your parents had, what they did or, didn't believe in, and make this a very positive thing in your home. I love what Sharna said. You can model this by saying, hey, you know what? There's some things that I want to talk about, and I'm going to go. And you lead by example. I think you have to be careful, and it does depend on the age, but I think you have to be careful when it's bringing something up, because you run the risk of saying, well, is this something that you would like to do? Are you into it? If they say no,
what do you do? Right.
Then you're kind of dead in the water. So I think it's being as honest as possible. First, it's talking about it. Maybe you even go and then share your experience, and you ask them a set of questions. You can ask the therapist, how do I talk to my child about getting some help? And the other thing you said that I really liked is there's nothing bad about it. You actually make therapy a very positive thing. So many people over the years have said to me, do you think I'm a candidate for life coaching, Randy? Do you think I can work with you? But I don't feel like there's anything that bad or wrong. And I laugh all the time because people have this idea of like, I have to be really messed up to go to therapy or to hire a coach. Things have to be really bad in my life. Some of the most successful people, so many people that I have met through the years, have therapists, have coaches, work with mentors that are free, right? To get them to a better place. We all need that person. And sometimes parents can't always fulfill those roles. That is okay. But I think the main goal is to get them to start expressing to someone what is going on and what their experience is, so they can get more in tune and in touch with whatever help they may need. And you can feel less pressure that you're holding on to of, do I need to do something? That can at least be taken off your plate.
Agreed. Helen, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for sending in that question.
Great
I think
question.
It's going to be a very helpful question for many parents.
Yes.
Okay, Randy, I got one for you. Cindy says, and it's along the same lines, actually, we're talking in anxiety. So Cindy has asked, how can I help my child who struggles with anxiety? The pandemic did not help with anxiety.
No, the pandemic did not help with anxiety.
No, not for many people.
There's so many tools. One of them is exercise. It's free.
Physically moving your body.
You can do it. Physically moving your body. When I was doing research, I had an anxiety course that I was teaching with a colleague, and I did a year-long deep dive into research, and I was really amazed at how many times I read that physical exercise is either as effective, if not more, than therapy and medication. I'm not saying that it's a replacement for therapy and medication. What I'm saying is, if it can be as effective, if not more, than medicine or therapies, that has to be considered. And through the years of working again with people, families, a lot of people have come with being stressed, worried, having anxiety. And I can't tell you, almost always exercising more will make them feel better. So that is one way. I think another way is figuring out how they are speaking to themselves. Self-talk is such a big one because a lot of anxiety stems from thought. Doesn't feel like it because it feels like it's in the body. But if you trace it back, a lot of times it stems from a thought that's coming up, and it's a repetitive thought. Or you used to talk about a lot of intrusive thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
You have these intrusive thoughts, and then all of a sudden you're spiraling about something that could happen, whether it's, to your child or something about your future, and you're reacting to something that may never happen.
Something that's made up.
Something that's made up, but you're playing out that reality.
Yeah.
And over time, practiced, the body, when doing that, reacts instantaneously and starts to produce chemicals and
cortisol and all of that.
Cortisol, your heartbeat becoming more rapid. So it's talking to yourself different. Mindfulness, breath work, meditation, even active meditation, such as walking or listening to music. Art is great. Puzzles.
Do a puzzle.
Yes. Finding activities where one can think less and be more.
Randy, I love everything that you just said. Both of those. I think that is the most perfect advice. The movement thing is so true. And it's not, like you said, it's not a replacement, but simply moving your body moves energy and emotion and that's caught in you through you. And that endorphin release, that buildup of adrenaline, that's literally sweating it out, is just such a huge part of feeling good. And I know it's been a big thing for me in my life, moving my body and my mental health. And then what you said about the self-talk. Yes. And I think, Cindy, you lead by example and you start to do affirmations with your kid. You can't ask, especially our children, right? Ask them to do things that you are not doing. And I think if you're bringing new practices into the home and you're doing the things that Randy so beautifully said, amazing suggestions of breath work and, self-talk and working on those things, do them with your child. Make it something that you're doing and you're taking them along on that journey, I think would be really helpful. Hey, we're going to do some breath work. Learn this with me. Or, hey, we're going to do a meditation. Do this with me. Whatever that is, I think if you do it together, I think that could be really, really helpful in them feeling supported in their journey of building tools to deal with their anxiety.
Absolutely. More connection, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a chance to, whether it's a puzzle, whether it's going on a walk, changing the environment. When someone's sitting there and they're anxious, you need to change the environment. It's very hard in that moment with all the cues to stay in that and just instantly change. But the moment that you get up, something is different. The brain's scanning for something different. The moment you breathe differently, your physiology changes. People do cold water therapy for anxiety because
I actually really want to do that. Cold plunges.
We're going to have to talk about doing an episode about that. I want to get
you
Brian in the cold water.
We need to do this. We'll each get the tank gifts. You can get them at your house, the cold plunge pools.
I used to do it to my daughters. Do you think that's mean?
Wait, what do you mean do it to that? Like, how old were they? What are we talking here, Randy?
Tired of endless diets and weight loss struggles? It's time to say goodbye to frustration and hello to results. Introducing Smart Metabolic Burn from BrainMD, your breakthrough solution to fight stubborn body fat. Imagine burning fat, balancing glucose levels, and regulating metabolism in just 12 weeks. This unique 2-in-1 product combines the power of 2 clinically studied ingredients in one revolutionary formula. Berberine, which targets abdominal fat, and OEA, which curbs your appetite. With just 2 capsules a day, Smart Metabolic Burn by BrainMD can kickstart your metabolism, fight stubborn body fat, especially that pesky abdominal fat, and support your weight management journey. Right now, save over 30% on Smart Metabolic Burn at GetSmartBurn.com. The lowest price anywhere. That's GetSmartBurn.com. Don't delay. Transform your life with Smart Metabolic Burn from BrainMD. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Could these study results apply to your life? If you or a loved one are living with HER2-positive metastatic breast cancer, take a look at the data for a clinical study where 50% of eligible people with HER2-positive MBC lived over 2 years without their tumors growing or spreading. Visit her2results.com to learn more.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay, the only sofa that's machine washable inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas from only $639. Anabay brings you a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slipcovers made with performance fabric, cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam, and hypoallergenic featherless down that needs no fluffing. Their steel frame ensures longevity, and you can rearrange the modular pieces anytime. And here's the cherry on top, up to 60% off site-wide. It's backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, so if you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Join the revolution of easy, clean, stylish living with up to 60% off at anabay.com. That's ANABEI.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Okay. Sorry, Cindy. So they were young. I was still giving them baths. So I had the duck bowl and was giving them baths. But what I found was this. Sometimes when they would get the flu or have really high temperatures, we would wrap them in a cold towel.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, when you do that and you're so hot and you feel that cold, the breath, they instantaneously freeze and scream and panic. So I started doing cold showers when I learned about the benefits of cold water therapy. What I wasn't prepared for, and I'm a student, right? I coach people every single day. So because of that, I'm finding solutions for people, how to do all these things. I have to put myself through these things and guinea pig it to understand the mechanisms behind it, how it works, right? And then talk to people about it and get more evidence that way. So when I was doing the cold showers, what I would realize was when I wasn't stressed out at all, when I was turning it to cold, I could get my breath, I could breathe, and I could handle it better. But if I was worried about something, if I was stressed out, I would tense up. I didn't want to do it. My mind would fight back, and it would be a terrible experience. So I thought, well, this builds resilience, not only physically, but mentally. When something challenging comes, to be able to breathe through it and not panic at all. So I started talking to my girls about it at bath time. And then what we started doing was I started getting ice cold water. I'd say, okay, here it comes. I'd get ice cold water, and they would stand up and we would practice the breaths. We'd breathe a few times, and then I would pour it on them. And it was freezing cold, but they would get all excited.
How old are they?
Oh, like 3 and 4.
Oh my God, Rick, that's crazy. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I feel like, did it work? Was it good?
I mean, they were willing to do it. They weren't.
Right, I know you didn't like dunk them in an ice cold pool, right?
But yes, it worked. Yes, it worked. So think about this. The times that, you know, I really started paying attention to my health and working out a lot more in the last 7 months. And I put myself through some pain, admittedly, but because I put myself through that pain and I know that I can work through it and it's okay, I'm going to be okay. Because my mind is like, you're going to die. Don't do it. This hurts so bad. Everything burns. And I'm like, wait, I'm going to be okay. Then when I come up against something hard, I don't go to that shutdown, or I don't go to that catastrophizing. Everything is terrible. I can breathe. I can take that in and go, okay, wait, everything's going to be okay. So I think what happens, back to anxiety, if we can create a pause between the rabbit hole that we go down, which a lot of times isn't real. It's not even true. It's a what if, it's
a rabbit
playing out
hole.
something in the
Yeah.
future. Then you create space. And within that space, then you can have a moment to react differently. And you get, I don't want to say control, that's not the right word, but you get the ability to bring something new to it instead of going down that same neural pathway, which is the same anxious thinking, which brings up the worry and the bodily feelings, which leads you down the path of anxiety.
Right. All right. So cold plunges.
Yeah. So get Zane ready.
Apparently. Oh my God. Could you imagine poor little man? No, I can't.
No.
I can't.
Oh.
I can't even imagine the bigger kids doing it, but I would, you know what? Bodhi, maybe. We'll see.
Are we going to do this?
I'm down.
Can you convince Brian? Can we do an episode on this? We'll bring on a cold plunge expert. If anyone's interested in this, let us know, because there's so much information now on social media and coming out
I
about.
have friends that do it. They've bought the ones that these tanks or tubs that are on Instagram. They have them at their house. They do it now, and they said it's the most life altering thing. All right, we shall discuss with Brian. I should just say we'll do it while he's away. Bless him.
Can you just make the
baby,
decision?
guess what we're doing next week? A cold
This
plunge.
is what we're doing. Yes.
I can do that. We could do that.
Okay. Dylan says, loved listening to the episode because I agree that the pandemic took a toll on us. Have you guys noticed anything about the pandemic that affected you? I feel like I struggle more with social anxiety. I worked and still work from home and only go into the office twice a week. During those 2 days, my anxiety and stress level are high. Do you think I should see someone about it? Any advice?
Interesting. Dylan, as Randy was reading me your question, I was one of those people. I've always been a homebody. I've always loved my own space. When they were like, you must stay home, I was like, oh no, that's terrible. Like, it was just, for me, I was like, that's fine. I love being with my dogs and my solitude, and honestly, being forced to stand still was good for me. I did get a little stressed with, the length of the pandemic and when am I going to get to do things again, that I didn't experience it giving me social anxiety, because I honestly have grown to love the fact that I love my own space. And so I think because for work, I have to be so social. Maybe that's why, but I'm a hermit crab for sure. I think that speaking with someone is a really good idea. Anxiety is coming up a lot for everyone. So first of all, know you're not alone. And there are so many people experiencing exactly what you have just described. And now, struggling with being in the workplace or in social situations at all now can be difficult. And the greatest thing I think you can do is speak to a therapist about it and start to build those tools on how you can handle that anxiety and take things in small doses and find ways to get through the days, and then eventually it gets better. But Randy, what do you think?
Dylan, you're not alone. So many people have struggled with this. This was common. I was hearing about this, again, pretty much daily. When people started going back into the office, it felt very weird because this was the norm. Now you pull back from the norm, things change, you go back in, and it's like, remember the show The Wonder Years? Did you ever see that show?
Yeah, the original Wonder Years.
Yeah, what I found so cool about The Wonder Years, I wish they would make a version of that now, is the self-talk. They did?
Have The Wonder Years now, yeah. It's great.
No way.
Yeah, they have a new version of it.
Where am I? What?
I don't know what network it's on, but yeah.
See? Well, okay. So I'll have to go check that out because it's the self-talk. So now you have, you're with yourself, and some people are just more introverted. Some people have a tendency to be more contemplative, more inward. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think when going back to the workforce, back into office and now being around people, and that social interaction wasn't there for so long, a lot of people were second guessing themselves and going, well, maybe there's something wrong with me. I feel awkward. This isn't normal. So please know, a lot of people have struggled with it. You ask, should I see someone? What's the downside of talking with someone about it? Worst thing that happens is you go, well, that wasn't a good experience. I'm going to find someone else. Or you go, well, okay, I've done 5 sessions. I've talked a little bit about this. Maybe I have some tools. I'm going to use that and move on. But there's no real downside of talking about something that you are keeping inside of you and potentially judging yourself for, feeling uncomfortable about, and then having to manage that, because managing that discomfort and then the self-talk that goes along with that discomfort, that's what causes some, we'll say, suffering. It causes undue stress and strain that you don't really need. So I think it would be very beneficial to talk to someone. And again, there's no huge downside to doing so.
Agreed. Dylan, thank you so much for sending in your questions, and best of luck with it. And just again, to echo it, you are not alone. So many people are experiencing the same thing. And probably those people that are in your office and your workspace are experiencing the same thing.
Totally. By the way, I felt it personally. I mean, my office pretty much is, I don't interact with that many people. I went all online instead of having people, coaching them in person. I still did some retreats where people would fly into Portland and we would, stay outside and do some things. But other than that, I started feeling more self-conscious. I'd be around people and I kind of had the same thing that I was talking about. I was like, oh, maybe I'm socially awkward or something. I was just really second guessing myself until I did it more and until I just got more comfortable. So it took a while. And, fortunately I have some tools in my toolkit that I can use. But just so you know, I mean, again, I do this professionally, and still I felt very awkward going out talking with people because I spent so much time inside my office, inside my house, just with my family, that I had to relearn. It's almost like the brain has to come back online to learn how to engage again, how to look at people in the eye and not feel uncomfortable. And also, one thing I will suggest about social anxiety is some form of self-work, because sometimes social anxiety can mask as lower self-confidence, feeling not enough. Those things pop up. And what we find is when we start to work in those areas, socially, you become much more comfortable.
That's very true. Yeah, working on finding those underlying reasons for the social anxiety, the why of everything is so important.
Yes.
Tired of endless diets and weight loss struggles? It's time to say goodbye to frustration and hello to results. Introducing Smart Metabolic Burn from BrainMD, your breakthrough solution to fight stubborn body fat. Imagine burning fat, balancing glucose levels, and regulating metabolism in just 12 weeks. This unique 2-in-1 product combines the power of 2 clinically studied ingredients in one revolutionary formula: berberine, which targets abdominal fat, and OEA, which curbs your appetite. With just 2 capsules a day, Smart Metabolic Burn by BrainMD can kickstart your metabolism, fight stubborn body fat, especially that pesky abdominal fat, and support your weight management journey. Right now, save over 30% on Smart Metabolic Burn at GetSmartBurn.com. The lowest price anywhere. That's GetSmartBurn.com. Don't delay. Transform your life with Smart Metabolic Burn from BrainMD. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Could these study results apply to your life? If you or a loved one are living with HER2-positive metastatic breast cancer, take a look at the data for a clinical study where 50% of eligible people with HER2-positive MBC lived over 2 years without their tumors growing or spreading. Visit her2results.com to learn more.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay, the only sofa that's machine washable inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas from only $639. Anabay brings you a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slipcovers made with performance fabric, cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam, and hypoallergenic featherless down that needs no fluffing. Their steel frame ensures longevity, and you can rearrange the modular pieces anytime. And here's the cherry on top, up to 60% off site-wide. It's backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, so if you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Join the revolution of easy, clean, stylish living with up to 60% off at anabei.com. That's ANABEI.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Okay, Alex wrote, Sharna, I love
Wow, three
your
loves.
new tattoo.
Love that.
Love your new tattoo. Can you explain your inspiration? What's the meaning and importance behind it? Also, what other tattoos do you, Brian, Randy have? And what are your thoughts on kids wanting tattoos and piercings? Great question.
Okay, well, first of all, let's start with the last part of that on kids wanting tattoos and piercings. Kids, like because they're your children, or kids because of the age range? You know what I mean? I think once you are 18, then, for me, you have the choice to do what you want with your body. I would say be careful of tattoos being so young, because you're never going to know what you want when you get to 30 and 40, because you'll be many different versions of yourself by the time you get to that point. But at the end of the day, I think you're an adult and you can make those decisions on tattoos and piercings. For me, I mean, I wanted tattoos when I was a teenager because I loved them. I've always wanted the artwork, but I obviously wasn't allowed to do them. My first piercing was my nose. I got that at 18 years old. I think I was 18. I was touring.
Did you get this part or the septum?
No, I got it through the nostril.
Okay.
And then, get this, I've got a piercing story for you, just a horrifying one. I was early 20s living in London. So I would have been like 19, and I got my nipple pierced. And because, rebellious, and that's super hardcore and cool. And it was my mum. I told my mum about it, and she told me that thing's going to rip out. That's going to bloody rip out one day, Sharna. And it's like she manifested that, because a few years later, I was getting out of the shower and the bar caught on the side of the shower and ripped clean out. Out.
No, stop.
Gone. Yes. How do you feel? Randy's sweating.
Wait, did you have to go to the hospital?
I should have gone to the hospital. I did not. And so I have a scar going across one of my nipples, because I should have gone to the hospital but didn't. And I can't even. She'll be fine.
My whole body is tingling.
She'll be right
now.
When
I can't even.
It's terrifying. But what's crazy? It was so shocking that I didn't even feel it. It was so shocking and so fast, and I didn't feel it till like the adrenaline wore off of the complete and utter shock of how it happened. Anyway, I thought I wasn't going to be able to breastfeed because of that, and I ended up being able to breastfeed and everything was fine. But yeah, piercings, kids, stay away from them until you really know you can take care of them and be responsible.
I need to go lay in a dark room.
Randy's not going.
I'm not well after this conversation. I have very sensitive nipples. Even my children make fun of me because they'll try and get me, and I'm like, don't touch my nipples.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, pretty awful stuff. But that's my war story of piercings, and my warning story to anyone that is going to get them. I'd say you have
don't go in a shower with a nipple ring.
Yeah, don't reach for a towel. But thank you, Alex, for saying you love my new tattoo. So the inspiration is Zane. Actually, I've always wanted a tattoo for him, and I didn't really. It was just going back and forth. I drew it, and then Cacho Tattoo, the guy that put it on me, obviously made it perfect and better and worked with me on putting all the extra little bits in. But I found two symbols that I wanted. The Buddhist symbol, the unalome, which is your own personal unique journey in life. So it starts with the unalome, which is my own unique personal journey into, for me, motherhood. Then it is Zane's name, and it ends with the symbol of unconditional love with a little arrow and dots that mean it is, unconditional and eternal, like it continues. So
How did you find that?
Just through looking and searching symbols and researching, making sure it wasn't like a one-off that it meant that, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't mean something else entirely. I really wanted to make sure I got it right. And, different handwriting. It's actually practically my handwriting that we ended up using. I went through all different ones, and he tweaked it a little bit for me, but just, made the lines of it perfect, because I'm all about symmetry and lines. So I really love it. And it's like shoulder jewelry. So it goes from the base of my neck down onto just the side of my shoulder, of my arm, sorry. And I really love it. And I have a bunch of tattoos, and they're all little ones, but they're all personal words of some sort. And I have a bunch more that I want to get. Randy, do you have any?
I do. Brian has a million. So I have my dad's initials on my
Nice.
left arm.
Oh, that's
Um,
beautiful.
quick story. I was in Las Vegas shooting a reality show at the time. And I got the call that he was taking a turn for the worse, and I knew it was going to be, weeks. And so I got a tattoo, but I was intoxicated and I barely remember feeling it. I just felt so numb. So years later, I'm now a life coach. I'm now living in Portland. I now have kids. And I just felt like I cheated the experience in some ways. I know it sounds crazy, but it's like I didn't quite get the pain of that. It's not like I search for pain, but I just feel like I was numb. And
Yeah.
after not being numb and really living life, what I said to myself is I kind of want the experience of doing that without feeling numb.
Yeah, I get
And
that.
so I didn't know what I was going to get. I looked for a year, and then I saw this. And it's basically the flower of life, but in a hologram.
Yeah.
So it's look more 3D. And the reason why I like this is you can find this in the universe. You find this in nature. These geometric, it's like sacred geometry, these geometric shapes that are like the codes of creation that hold all of this information. And this was a symbol that I saw somewhere. It was on a picture. It was Egyptian with the Hathors, like the cat names. And there's the Hathor temple. And I saw this and I said that. And here's the wild thing about it. I'll end saying this. The experience that I wanted was to not miss the pain, was to not be numb. So I got this, but it was stippling. It was just dot work, but it was an inexperienced tattoo artist who was doing it. She was rather new. So she said, "Do you want a color?" And I said, "Sure, I'll get a color in the middle." But it left it non-3D. It took 4 hours for this little tattoo. It took 4 hours. And then when it healed, I realized, oh, there's nothing 3D about it. It doesn't even show the shapes. So I had to go back a second time and get it redone to someone totally different. So I basically had to get 2 tattoos in one. So look at what I manifested. I wanted the experience, and I ended up getting, 6 hours. I mean, I could have gotten a half sleeve in the amount of time that I got this one round tattoo.
Wow. Crazy what you can manifest. I mean, so powerful. Randy, I know that there are people that need you. You got to go do things.
I have to go do things. I have to go meet with a client.
You must.
As always, I love doing this with you, Sharna.
Me too,
We're
Randy.
missing Brian, but he will be back
he's
soon.
Good. We didn't miss him. We're fine. Kidding. We always miss him. But Randy, I love hanging with you. And thank you everyone for all the amazing questions that you sent in to us, all of your support for Oldish. Please make sure that you always DM us at Oldish Pod on our Instagram page. You can leave a message for us on our hotline, which is 855-OLDISH-3. We love hearing from you.
We read everything that you send, all the pieces of feedback, all the things that would be interesting.
We read it, we text about it, we talk about it, we plan.
We're making notes. So know that
we have a shared Google Doc that we talk about these things, just so you know. Randy started it. We love you, Randy. You're the best.
We'll see you later, everyone. Thank you.
We'll see you later. Bye, guys.
Hey, we just want to take a moment to let you know that the Oldish podcast and content posted by Brian Austin Green, Sharna Burgess, and Randy Spelling is solely for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. So think of us as your friends hanging out and having a chat. We do not intend to be a substitute for the advice of a physician, a psychotherapist, or other qualified professional treatments. For any of you experiencing medical or mental health care concerns, please do not disregard or delay in obtaining professional medical advice. We love you, we appreciate you, and we are growing along with you on this journey. thank you, everyone, for listening.
Yes, you guys are amazing. Make sure you guys go and follow us on Instagram at oldishpod. And you can also go and leave us a message at our own hotline, which is 855-OLDISH-3.
Make sure and write us a review. Leave us 5 stars if you loved it. Leave us 5 stars if you didn't.
We love 5 stars. We love 5 stars.
Yeah.
We like 5 stars.
Yeah. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you next week, everyone.
For 25 years, Brightview Senior Living has been dedicated to creating an award-winning company culture so residents and families receive best-in-class services. Across our 50 communities, Brightview associates help deliver peace of mind, safety, security, transportation, daily programs, delicious food, and high-quality care if needed. Discover how our vibrant senior living communities can help you live your best life. Visit brightviewseniorliving.com to learn more. Equal housing opportunity.
Am I doing the right thing with my finances? Am I saving enough? Can I buy a house? Am I paying too much in taxes? Will I be able to retire? Putting a financial plan together feels impossible. What if I told you there was another way? Take Facet's free financial wellness quiz to get your score and a snapshot of your current financial health. Visit facet.com now and discover your financial wellness score today. That's FACET.com.
This ad is sponsored by Facet. Facet Wealth Incorporated is an SEC registered investment advisor. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor is it investment, legal, or tax advice.
Problems with stress and low libido? Did you know that saffron has been used for over 3,000 years as a natural aphrodisiac booster? Happy Saffron Plus contains the most potent saffron in the market, plus curcumin and zinc, to enhance mood and improve memory in a 3-in-1 single product that is vegan, sugar-free, and gluten-free. Developed by a world-renowned leader in brain and mental health, Happy Saffron Plus increases happiness and mood, reduces stress, and helps improve sexual function and libido. Happy Saffron Plus delivers hard-hitting brain and body benefits, so you'll find yourself experiencing better memory, mood, and libido. Join the thousands of people who are living better lives thanks to Happy Saffron Plus. Get your Happy Saffron Plus with a special offer at gethappytoday.com. The lowest price is only available at gethappytoday.com. Enhance your quality of life, mood, memory, and stress levels with Happy Saffron Plus. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Our products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.